Hello, year 4. I miss you all, guys. Today we're going to start a new lesson. We are going to learn about some new concepts. Today we're going to start talking about forces. The first question we're going to ask is, do objects move by themselves? So, for example, if I kick up a ball, I just I had to do something in order for the ball to move. If I just pulled a door, I also had to do something in order for this door to be opened. So this thing that is responsible for the change of movement or the moving of something is called force. Then how do we make them move? As I said, by applying force to them. So to open a door or open a drawer, we have to apply force to these objects for them to start. Now, applying forces may affect the things that we are supposed to be moving in different ways. For example, if your friend wants to throw a ball so that he can pass it to you, so your friend will apply a force to this ball in order to throw it to you. So the ball will start to move once your friend applies force to it. When Mo Salah wants to change the direction of the ball, what should he do? He will kick the ball. He will apply force to this ball in order to change its direction, as you can see. Wow, this is a great move, isn't it? Now, if a goalkeeper wants to stop the movement of the ball, he or she wants to stop the ball from getting inside the net, so he has to apply a force in order to catch this ball and stop its movement. So one of the uses of the force is to stop the movement or the motion of an object. Forces also changes the speed of a moving object. So let's watch together what will happen with Superman. Superman has to exert some force in order to slow down the train, the ongoing train. It would be falling off a mountain or something. So Superman came, of course, for the saving, and Superman slowed down the train, as you can see, by exerting forces to it. So one of the things that the force does is to change the speed of the material. Force also changes shape, as you can see. The can looked like a normal can, and once we started hitting it with a hammer, which means that we exerted force on it, it changed its shape. So one of the uses of force is to change the shape of the object. I need you to look at these pictures and tell me what kind of forces are applied on the door in both pictures. So what force is exerted on each picture? I will give you a second to think about it. You got it right. So here this man is trying to push the door, while in the other picture this man is trying to pull the door. So as you can see, there are two pictures in front of you guys. One of them, two hands are pushing the truck in different directions, in opposite directions, with the same amount of force. The other one, only one hand is applying force or pushing the truck with a specific force without being stopped by any other force on the other on the other side. So I want you to tell me which one will move. Of course, the one below is going to move because there is nothing that stops it. Nothing stops it here. It's just a force has been applied to the truck by pushing the truck this way, and nothing stopped it from the other way. So the truck will start to move to the right. Here, there is another force pushing back the truck with the same force. So if this force is lower than this force, the truck will move this way. The truck will move to the left. But if this force is weaker than this force, so this means that the force applied this way to the right will be stronger and the truck will move on this way. But in case of that both forces are the same, both have the same amount of force, in this case the truck will stay still. It will not move at all. So which force exerted is a balanced force? You can imagine like sitting on a seesaw. Do you know the seesaw, the game that you find in any kids park? If you both you and your friend have the same force while sitting on the seesaw, you both will be just sitting horizontal. You will not move in any way. But if one of you has more force or is heavier than the other, the seesaw will start to move easily. So it's the same. Balanced mean have the same amount of force on both sides. So I'm just giving you the answer. Which force exerted is a balanced force? Of course, this one is the balanced force, and the other will be the unbalanced force, because of course this force will be stronger than the other side. There is nothing on the other side, so it's unbalanced. This is more strong than the other side. So as I said, this will be a balanced force because there is a force pushing the truck and there is another force pushing the truck in the opposite direction, and both with the same force, and that's why the truck will stay still. So the balanced force, it means that forces that cancel each other, they cancel each other because they are equal. When acting together on a single object, each force is equal in size but opposite in direction, which means that they are both equally strong, but this force is pushed to the right and this one is pushed to the left. So this means that they are equal in size, they have the same amount of force, but in opposite direction. As for the unbalanced force, as you can see, guys, as I said and as I told you before, there is a truck, someone is pushing the truck to the right and nothing is stopping it in the opposite direction. So this what means unbalanced force. So it's forces that are not equal to each other. It causes the change in motion. This truck will move easily. The greater the force determines the direction of motion. So for example, as I told you, if there is someone else trying to push it from the other side, but this person is stronger than the other person, this will determine the direction of the motion. This man is stronger than the other one, so this means that the truck will move accordingly. It will move to the right. What would unbalanced forces do? They would make objects start to move. They will speed up a movement. They would slow down a movement. And of course, it would change the direction of a matter. So now let's together make some classwork. I'm going to upload this to your Moodle, guys, don't worry. And all the pages related to our lesson today from the third trimester resource pack. Now this is worksheet number 1. It says observations. Things move when you push them and pull them. A push or a pull is a force that causes things to go faster or slower, or to stop. When you are very forceful, you give a hard push. You can make a toy car go fast. When you are not so forceful, which means that you soft push something, the car will go slowly. Science activity. Do these things need a push or a pull to make them move? Write push or pull under each picture. So this is the famous game that you guys and me as a kid or as an adult actually love to play. It's pulling ropes. So I think I gave you the answer, guys. Of course, this is a pull force. Now next is this one. This is a father or a parent who is pushing the stroller of his baby. So I gave you the answer again. The answer is push force. Now this is a girl who is kicking the ball. Kicking the ball, is it pulling or pushing? I think you got it right. It's pushing a ball. Now this woman is trying to open up a drawer. So when we open any drawer, we do it. Yes, we pull the drawer. Next is this beautiful guy trying to put the ball inside the basket, so he throws the ball. Throwing the ball is kind of pulling or pushing the ball. Right, pushing the ball. Now this handy and very helpful guy is trying to play with his friends, so he put all of his friends or brothers and sisters in this car, and he is, you got it right, he is pulling them. Now we're going now to talk about a different type of force. We're still talking about force, but we are going to learn about another type of force, which is gravity. Do you know that we cannot live without gravity? It's actually what makes us stand on the ground, and it's responsible for making everything around us in a steady state. Everything around us is pulled towards the ground because of gravity. So we are pulled down towards the ground because of gravity. The gravitational force pulls things down towards the center of the earth. So this is our friend. He's just a very, very, very old friend. His name is Isaac Newton, and he's the one, I think you guys have heard about him before. He's the one who discovered the concept of gravity. As you can see now, the apple fell on his head, and of course, any of us, if an apple fell on our heads, we're going to eat it, I know. But Isaac Newton was different, a little bit different. He thought about what made the apple fall down, not to the right, not to the left, not upwards. It fell down. So he came up with the concept of gravity. So Isaac Newton was sitting under a tree when an apple fell to the ground. Newton realized that the apple was not just falling, but some kind of invisible force was pulling it to the ground. He called it gravity. Now, to learn more about force, guys, we need to make or know the difference between some of the most famous concepts that we got it wrong, unfortunately. So, what is the difference between the word mass and the word weight? First, let's talk about the word mass. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. So imagine that you have your school bag and you start filling it with with your books until it's completely filled with books. This is, and this is, if you pulled it up, this is the mass of your school bag. So it's the amount of matter, and in this case the amount of matter is the amount of books in an object in your school bag. So this is the mass of your school bag. It is measured by specific units, which is kilograms or grams, and we can actually find the mass of anything by measuring it on a balance. So, for example, the sensitive balance that you find in the lab is used to know the mass of some objects. As for the word weight is actually we have to make a little equation. It cannot be measured, but we can make a small equation in order to find out the word weight. So weight is actually the product of mass times gravity. And as more the mass is, the mass of the object has, the greater the weight will be. So what again is the meaning of weight? So as you can see, the word gravity is included in the equation that will come up with the weight. So this means that the weight is a type of force, and the weight is the amount of gravity needed in order to pull something, a mass, to the ground. So how much gravity or how much force the earth exerted on a specific mass in order to pull it to itself is what weight is. But mass, no, mass is the amount of matter in an object, and weight is also measured by the unit of the force, because as I told you, it's a type of force which is Newton. So we measure weight using this device, and this device is called the force meter or the spring balance. So we can actually measure the measure the weight using this device. Now again, the weight is the amount of gravitational force or the amount of gravity needed to pull a mass towards the ground. How much gravity needed for something to be pulled to the ground, and the measuring unit of the weight is Newton. So this is, guys, is the force meter. As you can see, it has a spring in it, and this spring starts to be pulled or left to be back according to what is hung on this force meter. So this, I think this is a very easy question. Which one has more weight? Of course, you can look down at the amount of weight attached to the force meter, and you can also look at the spring inside the force meter. Which one of them is really pulled down? So this goes in the first place. This is the lightest one. It's really light, and this goes in the second place. This is in the third place, and you got it right, guys, this goes in the fourth place, and this is the heaviest or the one that has more weight. So here, guys, we're done with our lesson today, and I'm going to upload all the pages in the resource pack to your Moodle, and this will be you have 2 pages as a homework. This one is worksheet 2, and it resembles very much the worksheet or the classwork that we did and this one is worksheet number 10, and it's related to mass and weight and what are the differences between them. So what is the difference between mass and weight? This is the first question. You will write the definitions of both of them, and you can recheck the video to remember the difference between them. Then second question is what are the units for mass and weight? Again, you can replay the video in order to find out the answer. And here, look at the instruments below which measure mass and which measures weight. Write mass and weight in the correct box. So the first one is a balance scale. The second one is an electronic kitchen scale. The third one is a bathroom scale. And the fourth one is the hand weighing scale. I think it's really easy. You can do this, guys. See you next time. Tomorrow we're going to complete the lesson. We're going to know some extra information about it. And I hope you all guys are fine. I miss you all. And see you next time, inshallah.